Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Sunday, September 10th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Now Mind You podcast. This is, of course, episode 82, Combat. I'm TJ.
Matt.
Bryce is not with us. Some low energy, but I get it. Bryce is not with us. He had a scheduling conflict, but he
Damn.
should be back. He should be back. No, because the way he says,
What kind of schedule of conflict, nigga? Like,
that makes it sound like Bryce died. No,
yeah, Bryce is not with us. He had a
Bryce is
schedule.
not with
Like,
us. But we'll see him at the
he
crossroads.
had a conflict of schedule with heaven. He had a meeting with the Grim Reaper. Didn't line up with the podcast.
But Bryce should be back next week. In terms of announcements, we're really just going to be covering UFC 293, Adesanya versus Strickland, that took place in Sydney, Australia. As last night, as of this recording, right? As far as announcements go or whatever with regards to UFC 293, Laura Sanko killed it on the commentary. First woman, I believe, at least in the UFC, to be on the pay-per-view to do some commentary. And I really like what she does with like DC and Anik, but also when she's with Felder and Fitzgerald, like she can, and even with Bisping, she kills the commentary. And she knows her shit. And let's see, UFC 293, the main card. What we had Pedro versus Turkali, and I think we covered Turkali's debut in the UFC too. Tafa versus Lane, that was at heavyweight. Then we had Cap versus Dos Santos at flyweight. Then we had Tuivasa versus Volkov for the co-main at heavy. Then of course we had Adesanya versus Strickland for the main event at middleweight. This was a championship.
Yeah, so some fights happened. This shit. Yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Overall thoughts.
Spoiler.
This card was insane from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like anytime you have Australia or New Zealand on the card, just expect violence of the highest caliber. For what it's worth.
They should do a New Zealand. They should do like a Samoans versus Mexicans.
I feel like that might be controversial for the wrong reasons.
You're right.
Right.
Like, you know where my heart is in this scenario, though.
Right, like, right. I'm just like, hey.
yeah. It's like I've always thought like I've always wanted to do like countries versus countries and shit. Yeah. Like just like, but it's like, nah, that's just it'll get too out of hand.
Yeah,
it'll get too out of hand. Like,
yeah, somebody's gonna say something out of pocket, and it's just gonna have really bad repercussions.
It's like China versus Sweden. Like, let's see what happens, and it's like,
right,
all right.
Oh, they racist.
Right. Find out about some people. Find out some shit about people you knew.
Gotta take their poster off your wall.
Oh boy.
Like, damn. With that, listen, the first two fights, we can handle this in less than 5 minutes. Let me take us into Pedro versus Turkali. You had Tyson Pedro versus Anton Pleasureman. You like that, didn't you?
I hate this guy.
Anton Pleasureman Turkali, right? Fun fact about Turkali. Well, actually, for both of these guys, we covered Pedro when he came back from his layoff, and we covered Turkali's debut versus Jalton Almeida, right? So this is at light heavy. Turkali calls himself the pleasure man, but I'm gonna just get right into it. Is it pleasure because he likes getting hurt and knocked out? I don't know, but the data is suggesting that might be what it is. Look, Tyson Pedro, he hurt this man, dude. Like, here's the thing. Turkali, like most fighters before they get got and sent to the Shadow Realm, he had the right idea. He was putting the pressure on Pedro early. The difference in power was made evident very early on in the fight, because after, a few kicks here and there, a few punches from Turkali, some clinch up battles, all it took was one right hand from Pedro to change the momentum. Then a series of right hands to put Turkali on skates, and then a last right hand to just end him. He was gone before he hit the canvas. And to me, it was like the samurai finish celebration that with the invisible katana that was unnecessarily cool.
Hey, I was
I
like, put that
really
shit in
fucking liked it.
UFC
I was like,
5. That
yeah,
shit
yeah,
was fire.
that was
That
dope.
shit was
That was
fire.
dope. What'd you think overall for that fight?
I was like, I hope he rehearsed that motherfucking
it was too clean.
that celebration because that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was clean. Like
For as much as I can actually say about the fight, you know, he just couldn't miss with that right hand, man.
mm-mm.
Once he came to the realization, like, oh damn, my right hand will not miss this guy. That it was he literally hit him with 4 of them in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did
it.
4 in a row. I was like, bro, have you had enough? And he's like, yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yes, I would like to not die, please. Referee? No? Okay. Well, consciousness. All right.
Yeah, man. So he just went on to get dude out there. Listen, Tyson Pedro, you know why he there.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, and I mean this respectfully, none of these New Zealand, Sydney, Samoa, none of these guys are here for no 5-round fight. And I don't mean that in the sense that they're not training. I'm just saying it's not gonna happen, man. That's not what they there for. Tyson Pedro is not there. God damn it, you got me saying this shit now. Like
Tyson
it's kill or
Pedro?
be killed
Yeah.
for bro.
Yeah. Mark Hunt walked so they could run. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, speaking of Mark Hunt and this card specifically, I saw a video before this guy was in the UFC of fucking Tai Tuivasa.
Oh, yeah. You mention this all the time. Yeah.
Bro, because he wasn't signed to the UFC yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, if you could have seen this combination that he lit off on Tai Tuivasa with no headgear, like I was like, oh my God. Because I remember watching that countdown or that 20 or that motherfucking embedded or whichever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember, again, this was before Tai Tuivasa hit sign. I was just like, Jesus. I was like, why did Mark Hunt do that to that guy? I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, what did he do to him?
What did he do to make this nigga that?
Bro, it was like a double uppercut, hook to the body, hook to the head, right hand to the head. Like Jesus. And it's Mark Hunt, so it's like shit ain't
it's just gonna hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, this man just, you know, it ain't nothing but kill in his system.
There's no or be killed. No, just kill.
Just kill.
What shit? You want to take us into the next one? Tapa versus Lane, where we have another man with indigenous blood.
So we're gonna go again. Indigenous folks, they put another one up on the board, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They put numbers up on the board. Shout out Pusha T. Now, Justin Tafa is fighting Austin Lane in a rematch, right? They fought back in June, earlier this year, June 24th. They was on the ABC card, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct. Yep.
And the fight ended because of like an ugly eye poke.
I thought the eye was gone.
Yeah, that like honest. It was Justin Tafa. It was an eye poke that ended the fight. Then Justin Tafa was still trying to like fight, and the doctor was like, "Dude, you can't see."
Yeah,
and he's just like, "No, I know, but like, it's like, nah, man, that's just not how it works." Like, I don't know. It was one of those things where you see a fighter literally like have to relent to the fact that they can't fight when they want to. And you turn it on the other end, it ends up being a no contest. He gets the rematch, and then like the same thing happens at damn near the same mark point in the fight, like 30 seconds in, another eye poke. Now, interestingly enough, I did a little research on Austin Lane. Austin Lane is actually a former NFL player.
This is correct. Yep.
Played on 4 different teams, Chicago Bears included. He's actually an Evanston native. The heavyweights are very interesting to me because
they come in all types.
They come in all types, all shapes, and sizes. And both of these, you have both guys that are 265 standing in that ring.
Yeah.
But one of them is 6 feet and the other one is 6'6".
Yeah,
but
like literally towering over the top of the cage.
Yeah. But then once you see them face off, it's like, oh, this guy's just taller than him. He's not even bigger than him. He's only taller than him.
Yeah.
At any rate, Austin Lane, like I said, Evanston native, made his run through the amateur circuit for a little while. Attempted to get on through the Contender Series back in 2018, and unfortunately, he was a victim of Greg Hardy during his run on the Contender Series.
Greg Hardy is crazy, but I get it.
Hey, a victim of Greg Hardy's run on the Contender Series. That's what I was saying. I didn't mean it like also. All right. Anyway, so after that, he went back on like the local scene, and he ends up getting another shot on the Contender Series, and he was able to pull this one off, getting the TKO victory over Richard Jacoby, and that fight with Justin Tafa that we mentioned previously was also his UFC debut.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when they got a chance to run it back, this did not go better for him. Justin Tafa was poked in the eye about 30 seconds in. Everybody is obviously nervous, and then it mostly just comes from the style just that Austin Lane has, with a lot of that kind of poking his punches out instead of sitting down on certain shots and reaching and pushing off, and he just ended up poking him an eye on accident.
It's like how he manages distance. John Jones is notorious for that too, low key.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a distance management thing. He accidentally pokes him in the eye.
Yeah.
Justin Tafa obviously did not like this, and he hits this dude with a left hook that sends him to space.
Oh my god.
And he drops down, knee on belly, and just left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. Motherfucking Friday, fucking assess the fight pattern. It's left, right, motherfucker. That's what's happening. You getting banged on. That's what went down. That was that, man. That was the end of the fight. It was the first round, a minute 22 seconds in. Justin Tafa wins via TKO. So I'm passing to you, TJ. I don't know if you have anything you need or want to add.
All I'm gonna say is he was pissed that he didn't get the fight bonus because he walked off to do a walk-off knockout, and this time he's like, no, they're gonna have to pull me off, which is what happened. And I believe he got a performance of the night bonus at the expense of Austin Lane's life, apparently. That's all I got. Yeah, that was, again, you take Tyson Pedro, take Justin Tafa. But I mean, I'm actually okay. This is a weird thing to say, but I know you can relate to this, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy that they put their opponents away so fast. I was like, cool. We won't have to stay up crazy late.
Bro, I am not gonna lie to you. That shit, that was everything, bro.
Right? I think that's also why
everything for me last night.
I think that's why I also love when we get like Australia cards, like a bunch of Australian fighters on the card, because like you're gonna be here with a good time, not a long time. If that makes sense. They put people away. They put up numbers. Yeah, but no, that like, that was Austin Lane. This is not the end of your career. It's literally just the beginning. You'll bounce back, but Justin Tafa, man. And again, I know we mention this every time, but he's got a sibling in the same division.
Junior
What's
Tafa.
that gonna look like? Like, ain't nothing junior about Junior Tafa.
Ain't nothing junior about Junior Tafa.
Anyway, let's go into Cop versus Dos Santos. I'm gonna say it like this: Manel Cop can fucking fight. I'm gonna also say Felipe Dos Santos can fucking fight and has a chin. To borrow a saying from Matt, next UFC game, they put Felipe Dos Santos in there, put like a 99 on his chin. Because he was eating some shots, but he was also given as good as he got. That being said, I want to say Manel Kopp was a little bit faster overall than Dos Santos. And this is flyweight too, so you already know they're on 10 when it comes to speed, but Manel was on something else. All that to say this, though, a really good performance was essentially marred by the use of a terrible slur in the Octagon interview right after the win declaration. So it's like, I feel like people are going to forget about the performance. I think Felipe Dos Santos's stock is going to go up, even though he lost. But I feel like Manel's performance is going to be overshadowed by him kind of destroying it. I'm not even going to make any excuses for it. It's like, come on, dog. But I will say it was hilarious to see how fast DC cut this dude's mic off. It just was like gone. I haven't seen him move like that since he was Shep.
Damn.
That was hilarious.
Say he was very quick.
Bro, he was just like, get off me and dip.
He just turned.
You just
like,
lost
pivot.
your mic privileges.
He's up, not. See,
like, nah, bro, I got a collar now, bro. I can't be out here. It's like, no, man, I got that ESPN
sometimes
money.
You give people an inch and they take a mile.
But that's all I had to say, Matt. You had anything you want to add?
I'm gonna tell you something. The the controversial things that he said aside, Manuel Cape has had a pretty interesting and quietly a really good career since he's debuted in the UFC. I'm pretty sure we've covered his whole career. But I was looking at this last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just follow me for a second on Manuel Cape crazy ass.
Yeah.
No, bro, he was wilding last night. Like, I don't mean no disrespect to him.
No,
but,
you're
like,
not. You telling the truth.
You was fucking tripping. This guy, first of all, comes from Rising. He, took Kyoichi Horiguchi to his limit up until he, eventually he succumbed to a submission. But trust me, if you see that fight, he pushed him, beat Ian McCall. He's fought a real interesting set of people since he's been in the UFC. His very first fight, he fought Pantoja.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. You look at the way that he moves, you look at the way that he fights, you look at the people that he's calling out, and kind of just the way that division shifts. And when I look at his footwork, his hand speed, his power, and just his style overall, I don't like that matchup for our guy Kai Kara France. I don't like it. I know that he's been calling him out. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what the issue between the two of them is. But what I will say is I know that he's been calling him out, and I am not sure how that will go.
Right.
But that's my only thoughts I had to add on that.
Yeah, I feel like once he gets out of mandatory remediation school,
funny as hell.
I think he'll be good to go. But he's got to do school and probably some type of community service. Joking aside, he the PR
joking aside laughs.
He either needs to hire a PR firm or something, man. Like maybe for certain fighters we just don't let them talk in the octagon. Let them cool off a little bit first. Because that adrenaline, testosterone is just different, bro. I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just saying, like, maybe it was something preventable. But yeah. Take us into co-main, please.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. This wasn't an easy one either.
This was a tough one. Our co-main event, we had Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. I'm gonna be honest with you though, both on paper and actually just watching it, this fight I felt delivered.
Yeah.
Tai Tuivasa has had a really up and down career in the UFC. But the one thing, despite the fact I literally did just say up and down, the one thing that has been a consistent or a constant with Tai Tuivasa is he's must-see TV.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch the fight. You got to see him fight. Despite no matter who he is, who he's fighting, who he's up against, you want to see who he's going to fight. You want to see how he's going to do. I mean, he dropped Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
He went toe-to-toe with Sergey Pavlovich. Whether it was to his benefit or not, he did it. Went toe-to-toe with Derek Lewis. Went toe-to-toe with Greg Hardy, Augusto Sakai, like Stephen Struve. He has no fear. This kid will literally stand in there and bang with anybody. And then
when your sparring partner was Mark Hunt.
Yeah, man. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm going to try to find that clip right after this. And then on the other side, you got Alexander Volkov, who has this, this long kickboxing history behind him. And then he's like Alexander Volkov is like a motherfucker out of a movie.
Yeah.
Like he's like a made up character.
He's gonna
like
be
he's like
Dolph Lundgren stunt double.
I was just about to say he's somebody Dolph Lundgren would have played in the 80s. 6'7".
You know what's crazy?
What's up?
He's my age and he looks like he's 45.
Yeah. 6'7", kickboxing world champion, knows how to use his length and his range, and also now apparently can fucking wrestle.
Yeah.
And has jiu-jitsu in his bag as well.
He wasn't a problem before.
So the first thing that we see last night with this fight is Tai Tuivasa is having a hard time breaking that distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's expected. And unfortunately, I think, and this is just in my opinion, I think what Tai should have worked on more instead of his head movement probably should have been explosiveness.
Mm.
And I mean explosiveness in his feet and not necessarily in his upper body. So that he could have
getting out. Yeah.
So he could have been able to cut that distance a little bit better because he wasn't really able to cut any distance when he was trying to get in on Alexander Volkov, and whenever he would actually close that distance, he was punished with wrestling.
Yeah.
And TJ, you can certainly speak to this much better than I can, but when you have a situation where there's a guy that is tall as Alexander Volkov is, and he knows how to use his length, doing jiu-jitsu with a guy like that, I imagine would be a nightmare.
Well, especially if he's on top of you and then he's like grapevine his legs so you can't even really shrimp out or escape, right? Like,
yeah. Please go into it. Please break down the grappling.
To Drago's credit, the thing that I thought was impressive was he put Tuivasa in a dilemma. It was either, and the first one is going to be with an asterisk, right? It's either you stay in mount and I ground and pound you with an asterisk, because what ended up happening was something slightly different, right? Or you start turning away, give me your back, hop on it, and I try to choke you, which we did see back take rear naked choke attempt, but Tuivasa ended up reverting back to mount because he thought that was a better option. So what ended up happening was Drago ended up kind of inching the mount higher, getting his chest basically into Tuivasa's face, and he got what is known as an Ezekiel choke. Now, an Ezekiel choke, the simplest way to think about it is a rear naked choke, but you're facing the dude you're rear naked choking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like your non-choke arm is this time behind their neck. Your choke arm is facing them underneath their chin. And to be fair, the choking mechanics are more similar to a guillotine than an actual guillotine choke. And the reason why this is probably like super effective is because, again, Alexander Volkov is 6'7", heavyweight, rehydration, definitely over 260, 265, right? He's got his chest lined up with his choke arm, and he's just gradually using gravity and his weight to choke Tuivasa out, and that's how he got that tap. What I would have liked to see from Tuivasa, and I didn't even think about the points you had made, Matt, because that was a very good call in terms of him being able to bridge the gap. I would have also liked to have seen him train his jiu-jitsu more. Because here's the thing, he wasn't even really able to establish a shrimp or at least free up one of his legs from the entanglement that Drago was putting him in. So he could at least, all right, maybe if he can't get back up to his feet, maybe get him in the closed guard, tie up his upper body and stop the situation from getting worse, right? And eventually find a pathway to bringing it back up to the feet again.
But I think he just believed that it was just going to be a stand-up fight. I mean, right. There's footage of him even saying that. That's what he thought. He was just like, yeah, this is, he's a stand-up guy. I'm a stand-up guy.
But it's, what have you also said in the past? This is MMA.
Yeah, man.
Right? This is MMA. And you want to hear my Alexander Drago Volkov impression?
Absolutely.
Gee whiz, I sure wish I could show off some of my grappling and jiu-jitsu. Everyone knows me for my karate and my stand-up, but no one seems to want to see my grappling skills. I sure hope I get an opportunity against Tuivasa.
Sure hope I get to use it.
Right.
Sure would be nice.
No, but that's what he was hoping for, and he fucking got that wish granted, bro. I guess other heavyweights be warned, but then again, the other heavyweights are like Tom Aspinall and fucking Cyril Gane. So it's like they're like, oh, you can grapple too? That's crazy.
Hey, Alexander Volkov grappling is like Curtis Blades would like a word with you, sir. Curtis Blades would like to speak with you right this minute.
All right, with that,
take us in our main event, brother.
I mean, do I have to? All right.
You do.
Damn. Adesanya versus Strickland middleweight title bout. Israel Adesanya, the style bender, and Sean Strickland, the controversy in human form. All right. Leaving personal feelings aside. No, I'm gonna address this. This was not, I didn't envision this. Spoiler alert, Israel Adesanya lost a unanimous decision that was a dominant performance. It was, no one's going to dispute that he lost. Sean Strickland had him on his back foot the entire fight. In round one, Sean Strickland beamed him with a right hand up against the fence that sent Israel's chin spinning and put him on his butt. Mark Goddard thankfully gave Israel a chance to get back up and fight back. And part of me was also wondering if Mark Goddard was like, you know what? He's throwing a lot of uppercuts right now. I don't want any piece of that. I'd like to be able to go home to my family eventually. Maybe,
he said Mark Goddard didn't want to catch it straight.
Yeah, bro. Because I don't know if you felt this way, but it looked like Strickland was like low-key on autopilot. And I'm not saying it's like some Khalil Roundtree energy, but it was something similar where it's like, oh, he is not stopping. Like he's just going and going. If I were Mark Goddard, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna let Israel get back up to his feet and also keep my distance. But joking aside, it was, bro, I just didn't expect this, because I'm like, all right, Israel, in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, Israel's gonna do something. He's gonna use feints. He's gonna find the distance. He's going to be elusive. But all Sean Strickland did was incorporate his Philly shell, walk him down, be very measured and patient with his shots. And he was doing I hate to say it, he was doing a really good job with his Philly shell of making Israel miss or making Israel's punches deflect off of a non-significant target area. I mean, they call Israel the style bender. Well, he ironed out the style bending. I mean,
he ironed him out, man.
He shut it down.
Crushed him with that straight right hand in that first round. That shit was crazy. It was,
yeah.
I
thought it was over.
It was crisp. Yeah,
I thought it was over.
Done. I thought he stopped him.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was over, and I was like, oh, damn. And to be fair, too, if Mark Goddard had stopped it, I don't think it would have been a bad stoppage.
I wouldn't have been mad. I mean, I ain't bet no money, so.
I'm so glad I'm not a betting man. I would have lost.
My mind, yeah.
Go ahead, go, dude. I don't have anything to add. I'm just like, I'm still in shock.
Yeah,
But
man. I was stunned. I mean, listen, personal feelings aside, no matter how anybody may or may not feel about Sean Strickland, a motherfucker can fight.
hmm,
And there's zero question in that.
hmm.
Like, zero question in that. That dude can fight. It's proven in all of his performances that up until this one, up into this performance, I should say.
Hmm.
Um, you also, I feel like you got to look at the fact that he did lose to Alex Pereira. He did train with Alex Pereira, and he
That
was.
I also thought was like, I can respect that.
Listen to this, bro. You're not even finna understand me on the point I'm finna make. He trained with Alex Pereira and Michelle Pereira.
Excuse me?
He was training with both of them. He had Michelle Pereira in the gym to help him. I'm assuming to help him mimic Israel.
Hmm.
And again, we already know like there's evidence of it. Like he trained with Alex. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like he put the right game plan together, put the right camp together. It was just crazy to see him just be able
Shut
to
it down.
so aggressively, basically stump, not even just walk Israel down, stump him down.
Yeah.
I'm right fucking here. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, get him off you, Israel. Shit.
I knew it was a wrap when he was talking to Eugene Behrman. He's like, I can't find my jab. I was like, oh no. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I even texted you guys. I was like, I don't think Israel's got this one. And I
It
did
felt
not feel
bad, man.
great.
It
I did
didn't
not feel
feel
great
good
texting
early.
that. Yeah.
It didn't feel good early on, man.
Because again, we've seen Izzy come back from adversity. I was honestly waiting for him to like throw his hip punch that apparently is like so fucking powerful, but
Yeah, I mean, if you can't find your range,
right. You can't set
and
up anything.
I would argue that that probably was a big part of it, is that he probably couldn't find his range.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe that was a piece. And we are, anybody who's done any even portion of combat sports can tell you not having your range is really
That's a
not a
problem.
place you want to be, man.
Yeah. It's like trying to fight with shackles on.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that there's probably gonna be an immediate rematch. Um, but it's interesting to see what this does to the landscape of middleweight. Bobby Knuckles tweeted, "Hey, there's some movement in middleweight." I was like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're on, dog. Trying to get that belt back."
Yeah.
Bobby Knuckles like, "All right, cool. Izzy's gone, bad." Like,
Yeah, I'm not mad at him.
yeah, I know. But then there's still the question of Dricus du Plessis, right? Like, what's that looking
Hey,
like? But
well, the last thing I saw, Uncle Dana doesn't seem too enthused about the prospect of giving it to Dricus du Plessis anymore.
mm,
It doesn't seem like that's too high on the priority list for him anymore.
right. He's like, I need to get Izzy reinstated immediately. Uh sorry. But yeah, I mean, okay. For what it's worth, good card. First two fights were crazy. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What was your favorite fight on the card? Let's know something positive.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the Junior Taffa. I just like Junior Taffa. He's just like
Justin.
I mean Justin Taffa. I'm sorry. God damn it! You see there? They're these damn brothers.
Yeah, I know. Same division too. It's like what the fuck.
But I really love. It's just he fights a very TV friendly style, and it's still truth be told, at this point in the game, it's really a throwback. He fights a real throwback kind of style. I mean, who am I to say how throwback his style is? For all I know, that motherfucker could probably wrestle his ass off.
Yeah, like,
you know what I'm saying. I'm just
oftentimes saying, like they just happen to catch people like one of the things they're good at, but it's not necessarily the whole game, right?
Yeah,
like we just saw with Volkov. It's like, no, he's been working on his wrestling grab. He just hasn't had a chance to show it because his hands have been doing the talking, right? So yeah,
it's just like I just like those Sydney dudes because they're just like, oh, he's regular guy, knock the guy out, go have a beer. Like what are you talking? Like,
that's a really good impression.
It's so regular to them to just disconnect somebody from the
conscious plane.
Right.
Yeah.
Just disconnect somebody from themselves and then go have a beer. And it's like, knock him out. He knocks me out.
Go if I can think him, I can sink him, eh?
Well, he knocked me out, but I'll drink him tonight. Like, should you be drinking tonight after what just happened? Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah.
What was your favorite fight?
Probably Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj. Only because of that fucking knockout celebration. That shit was tight. Like, it was clean, it was tight. The fucking katana. He's out here making me think like, oh, he must have really practiced kendo or something. That shit was
it looked clean. That good.
Yeah, that shit was clean, bro. And like also way to open a main card. Like you couldn't ask for a better way to open up the main card. That's the type of shit
that when Dana put you on a pay-per-view, he'd be like, yeah, you could go ahead and be on this bitch. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
He always deliver, man. Hey, them New Zealand boys always show up.
They don't mess around, dog.
New Zealand, Sydney, everybody from that area, Australia. Listen, man. I'm not sure how y'all political lines or geographic lines are drawn, but everybody in that area, y'all be coming with the fire.
Yeah.
Shit, the Hawaiians in there too.
Oh shit, yeah, they're cousins. Next week on the MMA tip, we got I talked about this with the fellas in the chat. I think it's disrespectful that this is a fight night and not a pay-per-view. It's Grasso versus Shevchenko 2, which on paper, just that main event is going to be crazy. But then, without it even being a fight night, just look at how stacked the card is. I mean, the co-main is Kevin Hart versus Jack Della Maddalena. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Terrence Mitchell, right? Daniel Zalub versus Christos Giagos. I feel like we've covered Christos's fights before. I know we've covered Kyle Nelson, and I feel like we've covered Fernando Padilla's debut, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think we covered his debut. Hold on, I'm not sure. Let me double check and look at his fighter history. We did versus Erosa. He knocked him out. That was back in April of this past year. We did cover this. Yeah. Anything on the boxing side, Matt?
No. We got one more week, and then we got Canelo. Yeah, Canelo versus Charlo. Which Charlo is Canelo?
Is it Jermel? Or is it Jamal? How did the parents name them?
Hey, listen. I tell this story all the time. Yeah, they're
one letter
September
difference.
30th.
One letter difference, bro.
I tell the story all the time. I get Jamal. One letter difference. But even to me, to this day, the pettiest thing was I went to high school with a pair of twins. Okay? Nathan and Nathaniel.
Are you kidding me?
Twin brothers, Nathan and Nathaniel.
That's just lazy.
You're evil. I don't mean no disrespect to them. They was like the coolest people They both was like in band. I think one of them played the saxophone or some shit, but like they was super cool, super, super cool. But like, bro, nah.
David and Nathaniel twins. That's just come on, dog. All right. Anyway, take us out of here, my guy.
Well, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. This has been another episode of the Now Mind You Podcast Combat Edition. You can follow all of us on social media. You can follow me at Matt Hambrick. That's MATTHAMBRICTJ.
You can find me on Instagram at Tuss4Skate. That's TUSS4_SKATE. And you can find Bryce on Instagram at Ashe Onta. That's AXE_ONCA. Bay.
And you can find us at Now Mind You Podcast, wherever you like to get your podcast and wherever you like to get your social media. We are everywhere. We're also on YouTube too, so be sure to look us up. If you know people that don't want to get on the podcast and platforms for whatever reason, or they're just being weird, get on YouTube. And if you're one of those people that had to do it on YouTube because you felt like going on a podcast app was weird, I'm talking about you. Do something about it. All right, we see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.